Hi Kush, so lovely to have you join us there. I'm hoping, okay, it seems like a small place that he's in there at the moment. But first, we have to ask you, the viral anthem that has gone, it sent chills. We just played it out for our audiences as well. It sent us chills and it was so proud to have an Indian be there at the helm of a motorsport. I'm sure it meant super special to you. Could you describe that moment for us?
No, I think the last three laps really, I was just thinking about the national anthem. This has been my main motivation really. I'm very prideful that way, and yeah, crossing the line was just an amazing feeling, and to do it at such an iconic circuit as well. Monaco and being the first Indian to win there, and have our national anthem play loud across the streets is honestly an unreal feeling. And yeah, a moment I'll never forget for the rest of my life, to be honest.
I'm sure.
Kush, you come from a family of racers. So tell us a little bit about what it was like, specifically with your brother, your older brother. Tell us about what it's like to be, in competition, but also best friends with, to have an older brother like that. Do you share tips? Do you get competitive? What is it like?
Of course, it's a very interesting one. So obviously, my dad used to race at a lower level. Arjun got into racing, and he sort of had only eyes for racing, and he was very, very good, and he still is very good. I took my time to get a bit better. So the first few years, really, from like 7 to 10 years old, I was just watching Arjun win everything and getting all the attention. So I was getting jealous, and then that was my main motivation to try and beat him. We were very competitive at a young age, and honestly, that's sort of one thing that's pushed us both further. We pushed each other, and that was great. And yeah, when I was 10 probably and I won my first race, that's when I took it more seriously. Until then, I was always into different sports, and but obviously with racing, we have to go to Europe to improve our skills, because that's where all the competition is. So it's a big decision, and
Yeah.
if you really are sure you want to pursue racing, you got to leave everything at home and go live alone in Europe. So it's a big decision, and I feel that decision came a bit later for me. But yeah, I would say that dynamic between me and my brother has changed so much. Now I see him as a little bit of like a guru, and I try and take his advice on anything, and ask him questions. I text him almost every day, and he's the first one I reach out to if I have any issues.
Beautiful. This is clearly a family that takes motorsport very, very seriously. So I want to ask you, how was moving alone at just the age of 12 to Italy all like? And what did you pick up in the process?
No, I mean, it's a big part of my life, obviously, moving when you're 12 alone, no, not speaking the language, the culture is so different, and trying to find your own feet. I had great people around me, always great humans, and obviously when I was in those initial years, racing was definitely not popular, especially like with the kids of color on the track, and I faced some negative responses, some racism, blah, 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 which really shaped me as a person. And I think that's why I'm so prideful today, because it really caused anxiety in my early years. Even going out anywhere in Europe used to give me anxiety. And because when you're young and you go through something like that, it's quite defining. But I feel like we've come through that, and that's one of the reasons I was so proud to hear our national anthem as well.
Wow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what it's like in the present day now. Tell us, in India, we all feel like we know the ins and outs of racing because you have shows like Drive to Survive. Now people follow F1 so closely. But what does a show like that get wrong?
No, I think Drive to Survive, first of all, is a great initiative. It's got a lot more people into our sport, but yeah, it is very different in real life. In real life, I feel you're more in your bubble. There's not so much. Drama, to be honest. And obviously, the radio messages and stuff is not how it is shown in Drive to Survive. I think drivers all have a lot of respect for each other at this level, and yeah, so you're sort of in your own bubble. Like prep days like this, you're just sitting in your truck, prepping, doing interviews, and you don't really see a lot of people throughout the day, so it's quite nothing really happens. So I would say it's a lot more boring in real life. So Drive to Survive does add some spice to it.
I see, but you talked about being in a bubble. We would love to get into your head for a little bit and understand, is there a particular ritual that makes you so calm with the sport which is so high on speed and rush?
But I always look at Hanumanji. I'm a big believer in Hanumanji, and you know, I feel him always with me, and he's helped me through so many tough times and made me a better person. So I have to look at him and just say Jai. I read the Hanuman Chalisa every night. So those are probably the two rituals I do.
Nice.
How wonderful. Okay, Kush, take us now from behind the wheel to beyond the wheel. When you have free time, what do you love to do with it?
I think Netflix is always a good one. I love horror movies, but I'm not brave enough to watch them alone. So I need some friends with me. But yeah, I would say just a movie or a TV show to take your mind off things. Some meditation as well, I think really helps. Obviously in our sport, everything comes at you really fast. So just taking that time and not getting burnt out before the weekend starts, you got to have that time to just relax. So yeah, I would say alone time and just either speaking to my girlfriend as well, that calms me down, or I would say watching something on Netflix or a movie as well.
That's sweet. Netflix and chill is the vibe for Kush Maini. But clearly, is there a quality perhaps now that you have such great global exposure that you're still looking to imbibe?
I would say, the teachings of Hanumanji, his qualities in a way, being humble and having so much strength but never needing to show off or show it. I would say that's one thing which I'm working towards. So the best way I can say it is through Hanumanji, but there's obviously many racing drivers and sports people that do embody that. But I would say that's probably the one thing I'm going after, and also just to become a better human being overall, because racing is just a small part of me, and I definitely want to grow as a person and become a better person every day.
Okay, speaking about your growth and the development you want to see in yourself, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Is it with a bunch of racing titles? Do you see it as something else?
Racing. I think I love it, and I don't think I can live without it. So, it's too far. The old Kush would have loved this question, but I'm starting to try and live it day by day. So 10 years is a bit far. I'm just enjoying the moment now and then seeing where it takes me.
Nice. At the moment, Kush, the entire motorsport scene in India is at a cusp of sorts. It's just about picking up. We, a couple of days ago, actually interviewed Atika Mir as well, an young Indian racer. She's also trying to get together funds, trying to get everybody to talk about it, also being a female racer. Do you have advice for kids who are just getting on the scene?
Ooh, that's a very deep question and a tough one. I would say you're going to have, in this sport at least, or in most sports, more bad days than good days. I've definitely had more bad days than good days, and I've thought of stopping like thousands of times because I just don't see it going anywhere. But looking back now and looking where I'm at now, it just shows that it's never really over until it's over. And the struggles I've gone through, F1 was probably a 1% chance for me 4 years ago, and now it's a lot higher. So anything can happen, and just keep believing in yourself and keep doing what makes you happy. I think the day me getting in the car and driving doesn't make me happy, I'm going to stop, because it's a short life, and you shouldn't waste it on something you don't enjoy.